It's time for another Dice Tower review with Tim Jennette.
Hey everyone, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and in this video we're taking a look at a small little dice game called Thief's Market. It's designed by Dave Chalker. It's published by Tasty Minstrel Games in 2016. It's for 3 to 5 players and takes about 30 to 50 minutes according to the box. So it's basically a game where you're thieves sitting around a table trying to divide loot and things like that. But what happens is one player rolls all the dice and then they select what they want, anything they want. The catch is the next player actually gets to pick what they want from the middle, or they can choose to take everything in front of another player. And this is going to keep going until everybody has something. Then you go on to a phase where you buy cards, and you play a bunch of rounds until this deck runs out, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Let me show you more about the game, and we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think. So to start Thieves Market, you're going to have this player board. Each player gets one, and it's going to give you the setup to the game, the round phases, the in-game scoring, and on the back, all the symbology of the different cards that you're going to purchase throughout the game. So the first thing you're going to do is select how many dice you play with, and it depends on the number of players, if you're playing 3, 4, or 5 players. And then you're going to set up the market deck with this many of each letter. You can see the market deck right here is thick. This is all the cards in the game, but you would slim down each letter depending on the number that's in that sheet. And you put them A's on top, B's in the middle, C's on the bottom, and then you flip over 5 of the cards. Then you're going to go on to the round sequence phase, which we're going to explain now. Whoever stole something last, and that's actually in the rule book, will receive the starting player marker. And they're going to begin the game by putting the starting player marker in the middle and rolling all the dice. Once you've rolled all the dice, you have one option. You take as much or as little as you want from the center of the table. So you kind of look at the cards and you say, you know what, I'm going to take these 2 blue. I really like this gold pouch. This gold pouch, the first player marker, I'm just going to be greedy here. And you know what, I'll leave everyone else with the rest here. So the next player has one of 2 choices. They can either take as much as they want from the middle, or they can steal everything in front of one other player. So obviously that's half the loot. They don't want that to happen, so they're going to steal everything in front of this player. When you steal everything, you have to at least keep one item, and the rest is re-rolled and placed in the middle. So let's just say we're going to go after these 2 blue and maybe a gold. We're going to re-roll these other 3 to make it less appealing to steal stuff from me. Now the next player is going to go, maybe they take these 2 reds and they're not so greedy. And then the next player goes, they take this, and then so on and so forth. Anyway, the game's going to keep going until every player has at least something in front of them. And then the game, or that phase will end. At that point, we move on to the second phase, which is the market phase. The player with the starting player marker is going to now spend the dice that they've received in order to purchase 1 card. In this case, let's say we chose to spend these 2 blue, and we're going to buy this card over here. Now, like I showed you, the game does show you all the symbology on the back of your player aid. In this case, it's just 2 victory points at the end of the game. This card right here, and most of these special abilities can be activated during the purchase round here, the market phase, later on, you know, in like future phases. But except for this one, where after the split, if you have taken 1 blue gem, which we did, then you can make a second purchase if you would like. This card right here would, you can get rid of a green gem to gain an infamy coin. These infamy tokens are simply the victory points of the game, so you're obviously trying to get those. This one, if you gained a red gem at during the split the loot, that means you're going to get a bag of money as well. I'm sorry, that means that you can convert it into a bag of money. This one here will allow you to choose any red gem and change it to any of the other 3 symbols. And there's a bunch of them in here, but we'll go over them in a second. So once you have purchased a card, so this player bought this, the next player goes, which is this player, they buy this one buys this one buys this, and then this player is stuck with 2 grains and they cannot make a purchase. At the end of the market phase, each player that has a bag of loot will convert it into 1 gold coin. Gold coins can be spent as wild resources, so if I needed a second green or a blue, I can spend this instead. And then the, I didn't pick any, here we go. We have the infamy markers. When you have these at the end of the round, these are converted into, like I showed you, the infamy tokens. At that point, we're going to refill this up to 5 cards. If for some reason you cannot refill them, like say the A's ran out at this point, then we would push all these up, and then we would put out 5 from the B stack. And then the game would reset. Everybody collects their cards in front of them, and then all the dice would be pulled up in the middle, and the person with the start player marker would roll them again, and we would go through the game over and over and over until the current purchase row here cannot be refilled with C cards. When that happens, the game will end, and you go on to the in-game scoring. In-game scoring is pretty simple. Basically, throughout the game, you're going to be collecting those influence points and storing them underneath your player aid so that nobody can see them, and then you're going to gain points equal to that. Whoever has the most henchmen, so you can see here there's different symbols at the top left of the card. Whoever has the most of these symbols will receive 3 points. The second player to do so, or the second most, will get 1, and then whoever has the most gold coins will get 3 points as well. Whoever has the most is the winner. So just to show you some of the other cards in here, let's just go through a couple of these. This one you can change a money bag into any of these 4 symbols. This one here, you can change a white into any of those 3 symbols. And we'll just skip kind of to the farther ones. You can see that the C cards get a little bit more powerful, but they happen late game. Most of them are going to give you victory points. This one will give you 7, but then 5 if an opponent has this symbol, which appears up here. This one's 4, you know. So you can see there's a plenty of different ones in the game, and like I showed you on the board here, there's a ton of them that you can get, and most of these are going to be used during the purchase phase to swap dice or to give you victory points. Anyway, at the end of the game, whoever has the most points is the winner. So there you go. That is Thief's Market, always mispronounced as Thieves Market. Just to say that up front, I don't know. I'll probably say that at some point in this video. For me, this game is really enjoyable. I like it a lot, but with some caveats. One being that the game is best with 4 players. The reason is because if you play it with 3 or 5, some things change a little bit. Such as the market, right? There's only 5 cards available. Sometimes there's a little bit more, but for the most part, there's 5. And in a 3-player game, that's fine because you don't feel like you're ever going to like lose out. You might lose out on one of the best options, but you always have some choices to make in the end to buy from, because everybody only gets 1 buy unless they've got special abilities or whatever. But in a 5-player game, there's 5 people trying to buy a card, and there's only 5 cards available. And so if you get stuck with last place, you may not have the correct gems in order to buy that card. And I feel like that kind of seems, it seems really bad as far as our gaming group was concerned, because it seems like one person always gets stuck last. Now, I know they could have circumvented that by taking the first player marker, but things seem to always work out to where one player in the group always did really bad, and that just proves itself in the scoring. I just feel like 4 players did okay, 1 person did really well, 3 people did okay, and then 1 person did really bad. And so they didn't really have a good game, I guess. I don't know. That's just how it played out in the many times that we've played this. So I definitely prefer it with 4 simply because of that. When you get into 3 players, you lose the one thing I really enjoy about the game, and that's the stealing from the other players. Because I feel like it doesn't happen much in 3 players. It's almost like it's 1 round and maybe 1 thing gets stolen from somebody. And then in a 5-player game, there's all kinds of theft going on. I really like that. So it's kind of like the middle ground is 4 players, and I just wish it was a little bit different with 3 and 5. But with 4 players, it's really fun for me. I really enjoy it. Let's talk about the cards a little bit, though, and the reason why I do enjoy it, because in a game that's simple like this, there's plenty of special abilities and such from those cards going on. And I was actually impressed by that. Even though there's a lot of iconography to learn, and it's also on that card, it is a lot to learn at first because there's just so many different ones. And there's actually way more than I thought there would be in a card game of this size. So that was kind of cool to come across. The only thing with that is that the icons at the top left, like when you finish the game, whoever has the most henchmen, so to that kind of thing. I feel like they could have did a little bit more with that, because there's only a couple other cards that reference those icons. It would have just been neat to have something else there, but expansions, right? The artwork is really good. I really enjoy the art of it, although the name, I don't know about the name, but whatever. I mean, I guess that's not a big deal. It's just going to be mispronounced because every single person that I've played it with calls it Thieves Market, but it's Thief's Market. So whatever, it's not a big deal. Either way, I really like this game. It's really fun. It's a small, little, compact game with a lot of gameplay to it. Just a little bit of, for me, you know, it's really best with 4, so it's kind of a downfall to always bring it with you, just because I don't like to play it with 3 at all, really. And with 5 players, it's okay. You just got to be aware that somebody's going to not like it in the end. So whatever, that just could be my experience. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please comment below, and you can email me at timjennette@gmail.com. Follow me on social media. Check out my podcast called Meeplecore. And until next time, keep on rocking and rolling dice.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.